there's a lot of confusion here because Paul says, again, the day of the Lord is not present. Because the first event, what he doesn't say is, before the day of the Lord starts, you're going to have an apostasy or the man of sin be revealed. There's two events that precede the start of the day. The word before and the word precede does not appear in the passage. Now, this is why, again, a good one of our brothers who I love is Arnold Fruchtenbaum.
Yep.
And he has allowed that flavor of precede. That there in English, there's a couple ways to say it. We could say, look, we're not going to go get ice cream until you clean your room and mow the lawn first.
That's right.
Okay, so you could say that. And so what that really means is, look, when the moment we leave to go get ice cream, the cleaning of the room and the mowing lawn has to precede that moment, or it has to happen before. So you could see that in English, where you could say, again, we're not going to leave to go get ice cream until these things happen first, which means in the sense unless those happens before. Okay.
Yeah.
Now that's one way to say it, and so most people have read this passage to say that now you have the Antichrist and the apostasy happening before the start of the day of the Lord, which has led Arnold Fruchtenbaum to the conclusion that there's going to be two revealings of the Antichrist. One will be one revealing to the church while the church is still here, and then the second revealing is he will say the revealing is going to be when he's revealed at the midpoint of the tribulation. And I totally disagree with that. What Paul is not saying the day of the Lord is not going to begin unless those things happen before first. Right. He's saying the first events that start the day of the Lord, because the word, again, precede and before are not here. He said, I'll just read it again, and then I'll get your comments, and then I want some definitions here. He says, again, let no one deceive you, for that day will not be present unless the rebellion comes first and the man of lawlessness is revealed. So when he's talking to the Thessalonians, he's saying, look around. The first events of this day of the Lord is the rebellion and the man of sin being around. That's very, very important, and we have some other ways to coincide that. But your thoughts on all the things that we just...
Well, I love this illustration because if you once understand the Greek grammar here, the passage becomes crystal clear. Let me just put the format of the Greek grammar into English like you did. Boys, we are not going camping unless you cut the grass first and clean the garage. Now, that does not require them to cut the grass first and then clean the garage. This isn't an order between those two events. All he's saying is, if those two things don't get done first, we're not going camping. That's first in order there. But there's another aspect, another layer that comes into this passage, because this is not a condition for the arrival of the day of the Lord. This is giving us characteristics of the day of the Lord. And if you once enter into this, he's not saying we're going to see the apostasy and the man of sin, and then the day of the Lord will come.
Like a few weeks later, or maybe months later.
Or years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. What he's saying is, do you see the apostasy and do you see the Antichrist? If you don't see them, you're not in it. And this really comes down to the verb anestiken, which is the perfect of anistemi. Mm-hmm. The perfect form, anestiken, and the participial forms of this are used with the sense of present.
Has come. Yeah, so we're talking about when some versions will say has come, and that's why you hear me saying is present.
Yes.
Because anestiken is very clearly people can study this.
Oh, absolutely.
If you look at the other versions in the book of Romans, it's those things past and those things present.
And the present evil age.
Yes, it's crystal clear.
So it's present. And so he's saying, this day, don't be deceived. Let nobody deceive you. Let no high-speed theological solution deceive you. Mm-hmm. That day is not present. It is not here unless you see the apostasy, the rebellion.
The first event, yep.
And the man of sin is revealed. And these two things are going to be together. You can distinguish them, but you cannot divide them.
Yeah, that's important. And so this helps us in our understanding is, again, for you and I have talked about this a lot, and some of the things I've been teaching is that the rebellion and the man of sin, again, being a single event,